When we talk about European history from the 5th to the 15th centuries, the term Dark Ages has long been widely used, implying a millennium of intellectual stagnation and cultural decline. However, this portrayal is partial, even misleading. Renaissance scholars deliberately constructed this contrast to highlight the enlightenment and rebirth of their own era. In reality, this period was far more complex and dynamic than we often imagine, an age of adaptation amidst turmoil and innovation in the face of challenges, laying the groundwork for the formation of modern Europe. Undeniably, the ultimate collapse of the Western Roman Empire in 476 AD had a profound impact on Western Europe. The breakdown of Roman order led to a decline in urban populations, the shrinking of trade networks, the destruction of infrastructure, and the disintegration of centralized rule. In many areas, literacy declined, and the transmission of classical knowledge faced severe challenges. This was a period of drastic adjustments in social order and economic structures, with frequent invasions, such as by the Goths, Vandals, and Vikings, bringing continuous instability and violence. Therefore, when compared to the splendor of Roman civilization, certain regions of Western Europe did experience a relatively dim phase during specific periods, which formed the factual basis of the term Dark Ages. However, this darkness was by no means universal. In the East, the Byzantine Empire, centered in Constantinople, inherited the mantle of the Roman Empire and endured for millennium. It not only preserved vast amounts of Greco-Roman classical knowledge, but also achieved remarkable successes in art, architecture, law, and theology. Emperor Justinian's Corpus Juris Civilis remains a cornerstone of the Western legal system, and the grandeur of the Hagia Sophia symbolizes the height of its civilization. Simultaneously, on the other side of the Eurasian continent, Islamic civilization flourished, achieving groundbreaking advances in science, mathematics, medicine, philosophy, and literature, becoming the leading knowledge center of its time. The brilliance of these non-Eurocentric regions strongly refutes the notion of a global darkness. Even in Western Europe, the so-called darkness was not uniform. The Church, particularly monasteries, played a crucial role in preserving classical texts and disseminating knowledge. Monks painstakingly copied manuscripts, ensuring the survival of ancient wisdom. 8th to 9th century, serves as a prominent example of internal cultural revival in Western Europe. Driven by Charlemagne, education, art, and literature flourished, and a standardized script, the Carolingian minuscule, greatly promoted literacy and the spread of knowledge. The Crusades, a series of religious expeditions spanning the 11th to 13th centuries, were far from benevolent. Yet, despite the conflicts and suffering they caused, they inadvertently served as a vital bridge between East and West. Through these campaigns, Europeans encountered and learned from the more advanced Byzantine and Islamic civilizations. They brought back a wealth of lost classical knowledge, alongside crucial advancements in navigation, military engineering, medicine, and mathematics. With the advent of the High Middle Ages, Western European society demonstrated even greater vitality. Agricultural innovations, such as a heavy plow, horse collar, and three-field system, led to unprecedented population growth and economic prosperity. Cities re-emerged, and commercial activities became increasingly vibrant, crucially, becoming new centers for production and dissemination of knowledge. Law, theology, medicine, and logic thrived there. These institutions were not merely places of learning, but also crucibles for intellectual exchange and debate, laying the groundwork for later intellectual leaps. The construction of Gothic cathedrals exemplifies a perfect fusion of technology, art, and faith. In conclusion, to categorize the entire Middle Ages as a Dark Ages is highly inaccurate. It was a complex transitional period, marked by challenges and localized declines, but also by continuous civilizational inheritance, significant innovation, and astonishing resilience. We should view it as an era of transition and foundation. After the collapse of the Western Roman Empire, new political, social, and economic structures gradually formed. The embers of knowledge were preserved in monasteries in the Byzantine Empire and flourished in the Islamic world. Ultimately, Western Europe, through its own efforts, cultivated new forms of social organization, technological breakthroughs, and intellectual institutions, accumulating energy for the Renaissance and the later scientific revolution. Therefore, to refer to it as the Middle Ages, a period connecting the past and the future, characterized by diverse development and vibrant activity, is a fairer and more accurate assessment of its historical contribution.